On the tabletop of Warhammer 40k, the Space Wolves are known for having a vast amount of named characters to use in their army. Real legends within a setting like the 10,000-year-old dreadnought Bjorn the Fell-Handed, or leaders like their chapter master Logan Grimnar, whose loyalty is unquestionable while his favorite weapon is the axe of an arch-enemy. But within the setting, there is a plethora of other characters from the faction that have never gotten a model, but are still incredibly compelling with great potential of furthering the story of the Space Wolves and the setting as a whole. In this video I would like to talk about one of such characters, someone that puts into question how much the Space Wolves truly know of their own abilities and what it could mean for the fate of humanity as a whole as it continues to evolve further into a psychic race. Most of the knowledge from this video comes from the Legends of the Wolf novel series written by Chris Wright, who has consistently written great books for the Space Wolves and the setting as a whole. This book series follows a wolf pack that calls itself Járnhamar, but they never describe their pack markings, so I always imagine them having a PNG of a Yarball in the shoulders. Anyway, one of their pack members, who is the character I want to talk about, is a grey hunter by the name of Baldr, which is a name borrowed from a real-life historical Norse pantheon, in which Baldr is the brother of Thor and the son of Odin. Just like the mythology version, Baldr is described as a charismatic and good-looking man, and for somebody with so much combat experience, he has attained very few scars over the years. Considering he's an Astartes with the title of Grey Hunter, he should be around a century old, but the story also mentions that there is a member that departed from them and returned after a 70-year period, so you can roughly estimate him to be about 150 to 200 years old. Baldr is also known for being particularly gifted with a bolter, the staple weapon of any space marine. The novel describes it like he knows where his targets will end up before they even left from cover. This is the first hint at Baldr showing signs of foresight, a talent that progressively gets highlighted throughout the series. The first real one we see is him giving a Fenrisian pendant to his recently returned brother Ingvar, and later feeling ill for the first time as the Járnhamar pack travels through the warp towards a planet they were designated to protect from recent attacks. So how is him getting ill a sign of foresight? Simple, he got his ass beat by a heretical Chaos Marine from the Death Guard that puts him into a coma. That very same corruption is able to turn mortals immediately into Nurgle demons. During his comatose state, Ingvar has a bit of a personality crisis, returns the amulet back to him, saying that he himself feels unworthy of carrying such a totem, and then ditches Baldr alone in an unguarded hospital wing because Ingvar really wanted to go out and fight some Nurglings. Now, this may paint Ingvar in a bad light, but trust me, he's a very compelling character. Anyways, Ingvar tries to fight a Death Guard Terminator together with the rest of the Járnhamar pack and almost dies. And if you actually compare the tabletop stats of Grey Hunters versus a Death Guard Terminator, the results are actually pretty fair. Only what further happens is Baldr, who is still in a diseased and semi-aware state, dragged himself towards the battle and kills the Terminator with a reckless blast of psychic energy. Something he has never once shown to be able to do in all his years of service. This is an event later looked at by the strongest Space Wolf Rune priest by the name of Njal Stormcaller, who is about to get a great looking model, by the way. As Baldr recovers from his illness, Njal mentions that they have always been suspicious of Baldr's possible gifts, but have never been able to really see any potential. The reason why his psychic abilities was so difficult to discover is likely because he was born with different skills compared to the known disciplines within the Imperium or the Space Wolf chapter itself. The human race as a whole, within the setting, is shown to have increased amount of people that are born as psychers, and stronger abilities showing up more often. A fate that caused the Eldar to fall from grace around the 30th millennium previous to humanity. But what makes Baldr such an interesting and unique case is that he isn't just a psyker from an unknown discipline, but also that he is from Fenris, the home planet of the Space Wolves. Psykers from this planet claim that their powers aren't from the warp, but from the spirit of the planet itself, which, if you know the lore, sounds like bullshit. But then they start creating massive blizzards and erupt magma out of the crevices of space hulks, with seemingly no danger from the warp because they're wearing a couple of stones with runes carved upon them, and suddenly it seems like they have a point. It is the ancient rituals, culture, and connection to Fenris that makes the Rune Priest such a unique kind of psyker. And Baldr is an evolution that branches out from these principles. Not only is he able to use his foresight to follow the path that would lead him towards his psychic awakening, but he was also crucial to saving the life of the Wolf Lord Ragnar Blackmane, before he would get betrayed by an extremist Astra Militarum branch that worked for someone who really hated Space Wolves. So when Baldr foresees his path towards unlocking his talents, he sees that through witnessing a Nurgle-infested world in which someone who he thought to be an Eldari was getting tortured. When I read that for the first time, that vision made me sit still in shock once I made the connection of who he was looking at. If you know a little bit more about the 40k lore overall, you know that there are very few Eldari gods left alive after Slaanesh, the Prince of Pleasure, was born. One of the survivors was Isha, the elder goddess of harvest, fertility, nature, life, healing, and growth, who instead got taken by the demon god Nurgle to be his prisoner and test subjects for new diseases. Since she would eventually regenerate from anything Nurgle created, she was the perfect victim for all of his experiments. Currently, Isha does not only protect the life of Eldari, but living creatures as a whole, since she is believed to be the creator of all living things. She does this by whispering the cures of Nurgle's diseases so that people may hear them and rid themselves of plague. So I believe that it was through Isha that Baldr was able to rid himself of Nurgle's plague not once, but twice throughout the book series. It is further theorized that Isha is the seed of the World Tree, something which has the power to be able to heal the Emperor. That is a legend that Leman Russ, the Primarch of the Space Wolves, has been searching for ever since he disappeared. So as Baldr's gene father Leman Russ searches for Isha, so does Baldr find a dying Eldari Psyker that was able to awaken his own abilities. With this newfound power, Baldr can summon spirits of Fenrisian creatures to empower the people of Fenris. As Wolf Lord Ragnar had his legs guided by the quick and agile maneuverability of serpents, and his weapon Frostfang received the ferocity of a black-maned wolf, tearing through enemies with even greater force, giving him strength far above what an Astartes should be able to wield. It's like giving them magical space steroids. Baldr was also shown to be able to fully operate a Space Hulk from Fenrisian origin by himself, even though it endured centuries of corruption from Nurgle. His very presence turning into an awe-inspiring aura even for his elder space marines and higher-ups. At the end of the book series, Baldr departs from the Járnhamar pack, stating that he is leaving to chase a higher calling where he is needed. And that is the last we truly see of Baldr Fjolnir, Rune Priest of the Space Wolves. So his story is incredibly open-ended and can continue in so many different ways. He could bring new psychic knowledge to his homeworld to further strengthen the Space Wolves. He could be the first to find Leman Russ after he disappeared 10,000 years ago to find the World Tree. Or he could be the Eldari's guide to freeing their goddess, which can also further the story of their race as a whole. I hope that they revisit Baldr. And since Chris Wright, his writer, still works together with Games Workshop, there is a very large chance of him returning. And when he does, it may very well be together with his Primarch and a newly released Eldar goddess Isha. Do let me know what you guys think about Baldr from this very quick snippet. How do you imagine him continuing the story? I am always interested in sharing ideas and perspectives from 40k. Subscribe, comment, like if you enjoyed. I make lore videos whenever I decide to make lore videos. I kind of just post what I feel like posting at the time. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful whatever it is you're doing.